Alright. Hey guys, how's it going? It's kind of early morning, extremely late for me. I don't know what time it is for you guys, but lots of people here. Might be your first time here. We're going to be doing a little bit of a review of matches from the RTVS tournament that took place a couple weeks ago. It was a great time, and I think that it's a good opportunity for a lot of people to learn. One thing that's big that I think people need to keep in mind is that with any matches in this tournament, or with this game, I guess you could say, is that a lot of matches will seem very, very one-sided, but they're honestly a lot closer than people like to think. And we're going to kind of dig into those little moments where just a very slight adjustment might be able to change a lot of the outcome. I see Zounch already in the chat. Kbloowit. Hope you guys are doing well. This is something that I do want to turn into something that maybe, people will kind of get more and more interest in this as it gets going. Just kind of, this is kind of a test run, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm not going to be doing this alone. Now, I have had a lot of help. If you look, this poster was created by RTVS's very own Ebook, and this color scheme is a little bit, a slight alter, which I think looks great, so I use that one instead. I have a list here. Let me erase that and bring this up. You guys should be able to see that all right. And that's got all the matches that we're planning on showing off and talking about. I think this is an old image. The Civil versus BTF match was lost. Not sure what happened to it, but basically, unfortunately, we're not going to have that one. So we're gonna go through. What I want to do is go through the individual forms. If somebody wrote something that they want specifically out of the review, we're going to try and address that as we can. Let's see. Yeah, there were a lot of Nagoriyuki submissions, which is fine. It's not really a problem. But it's going to be weighted towards that, so be ready for that. We're going to be talking about this character quite a bit. Let's see. So, joining me will be Kbloowit. We'll be and we'll kind of have a little bit of back and forth. If people want to have input or answer or have certain questions answered, that sort of thing, you can put that in the chat, and we'll see if we can address it as you like. We want to get feedback after we get this done with, because if I'm going to be doing this, I want to know what parts are good, what parts are great, what parts are not so great, etc. Stuff like that. Okay, that's right. There's one thing. These replays are recorded from the people that played them. So that means a couple different things. If you submitted it, or if it's submitted from someone else, that means that there could be the possibility of mods that people are not ready for, or that people might be a little confused seeing certain things in the game. I won't be able to comment on much of it because I don't use any mods when I play, except for the Happy Chaos Reticle mod. And also the music that they're playing, there may or may not be music that they're playing during the matches, and they might be talking during the matches, whether or not maybe people could have streamed it. Maybe there could be commentators or things like that. So just be ready for that sort of thing. I doubt it'll be an issue, but if somebody started, none of that. If somebody like streamed their matches while they were in tournament and then they recorded from that, then you might hear them saying things. But yeah, so I'm gonna jump in here. Let's see. Okay, hello?
Hello, that's me.
Okay, so this is Show, and with me is Kbloowit. Is that correct? Or should I say it a different way?
Correct. That's fine.
Okay, cool. So, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be streaming my screen. Hopefully nothing too crazy shows up, but what I'll do is in Discord with you, I'll just go ahead and do a direct
Good.
direct stream of my screen. You should be able to see that. And then, okay, we're not stuffing Kbloowit in an oven today. We could do it after, but not right now.
Man.
This is my co-star, so we're not doing that. Okay, take that away, put that up there. Where are we going to start? Let me look here. So the first link we have here is from Zounch, and it's against BTF 5000. That's a Nagoriyuki versus Milia matchup. And we want to talk about blocking mix-ups and maybe some stuff on positioning. Okay, no problem. Let's see, make sure I got the right one here. Sorry, bear with me for just a moment. Bring this over here. Put that on full screen. Let me know if you guys can see it. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Let's turn it up a little bit.
I'll check on stream for a quickie.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
I can hear it fine on the Twitch stream, but I can't hear anything on the Discord one. That's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, that's because I'm not streaming the page. I'm streaming my screens, and that doesn't
that makes sense.
Okay. So
good mod for the bite sound, by the way.
Yeah. So I might be pausing things just to talk a little bit about what's happening. First off, the chomp, wonderful, great. Let's see. So now this was a great round start for Zounch. You know, had a good string going and had good pressure going. Now what happens is it looks like BTF gets a chance to kind of start running their game, and that's where it runs into trouble.
Great bite there, and then it's just...
And then after... Go ahead.
I was gonna say after the burst, it just starts falling apart here a little bit.
Right.
It gets to win the game, so...
Yeah, and so you saw some patience there blocking, but gets thrown. Ooh. Okay.
That was a great one.
So right there we saw Zounch had a good chance to capitalize on dodging the YRC. And didn't quite capitalize on it. Now, that round was actually really, really close, right? It went back and forth. Zounch wasn't quite able to capitalize on dodging the YRC there, but was able to convert into a wall bounce, kept the pressure going, and then was able to close out the round. But there were some spots where Milia was starting to gain momentum. Luckily, he was able to stop it here.
Very, very true.
Yeah. Let's go back in.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Was a decent block, but
Yeah.
unfortunately went low after, so...
Okay, so that was good patience on the burst there for sure.
Oh,
Great bite. Oh, okay.
yeah, okay.
Very, kind of like a panic super there. It
I was
felt
gonna
like.
say very ambitious, but... See, this is one of those. Was another really close round there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Ah, that's unfortunate. The OTG 6 edge whip, just barely out of range.
Right. So now, basically, something that's going to take a little bit of practice. I'll pause for a second. Something that's going to take a little bit of practice is learning how Milia and BTF as a player uses the disc after knockdown and the options that they have right after that. Basically, you know, there's a faster version of it and a slower one, and what we're seeing is basically Zounch is not quite ready for the different options that are available there.
Yeah, definitely. There's also a small knowledge check to know in which case what stuff is and isn't actually true.
Right.
And if disc Oki hits meaty or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually only a couple of knockdowns where it actually hits meaty, and the other ones you have a chance to get out, unless the Milia covers it with a meaty J8.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
If you don't see him do that very much, then it's a good idea to try and jump or backdash out or just press XP, other buttons to try and just escape that way. But that's very interesting to learn. I think I wrote down which ones those are.
Okay. So we'll talk about that. We can talk about it now if you want.
We could talk about it in a second. I think it comes up somewhere in here.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so I think it's interesting that kind of part of Milia's game plan is kind of keeping your opponent not so sure which meaties are true and which ones are not.
Yeah, definitely.
So classic 6K overhead into a throw.
Ah, the unfortunate haircut. I get caught there so often. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Every time.
Slap. Duel 2. Let's rock.
Okay, great Oki. And so real quick, that's something I've seen a couple times where BTF will start to do a combo and it'll look like it's going to go a lot longer than it is, and then Nagoriyuki will recover, and then I believe BTF does a JH that lands on the other side, and that's really confusing, and that's something you got to be mindful of when that combo ends early.
Yeah, the resets.
Right. Now, I think that might be Nagoriyuki specific, because he can't do much to get out of that situation. I could be wrong on that.
I'm not a super great Nago player myself, but it's a pretty rough situation for most of the cast. But
right.
I do know that Nago has relatively weak anti-airs very close to him.
Mm-hmm.
I know that as Mei, there's a thing you can do on CS pressure where you jump cancel CS and go for JH instead of falling one, because his 6P doesn't quite reach you when you jump up like that. So it might be a similar case here.
Okay. So let's get back to it. Good burst.
Very good burst. Oh yeah, one other thing I wrote down in particular is being mindful of CS pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Because 2S hits low. Most of what BTF is doing right here is mixing between CS 2S and CS TK Bad Moon?
Mm-hmm.
But TK Bad Moon is only really threatening if Milia has meter, otherwise it doesn't really do much for her.
Correct.
So it's really, really important, I think, to keep looking at Milia's meter. To just be sure, like, okay, should I focus more on blocking low, or is there a chance that blocking higher up will be the better call here, since, you know, it's scarier if you do get knocked down by Bad Moon.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing, I mean, that's kind of a general tip that should be applied across the board, keeping mindful of your opponent's meter, because, I mean, especially a character like Milia, that changes their options really dramatically, right? Now, okay, so Corn, when I said that it's Nago specific, I meant more so that I'm sure that every character, that it works on every character, but specifically with Nagoro Yuki, his options for getting out of it are very, very limited.
Ma also had a good point in the chat here regarding blocking Disco Key. BTF gave some great advice that you do have to guess often, but you can often read the spacing of the knockdown to see if they can actually cross up air dash or not. That was
Right.
also a thing I was gonna mention, that you can usually check by how the disc like lands above your character, which side they'll probably go to.
Right, and also the timing on when it comes out in general will change. Will likely change which option they'll go for, I find.
For sure. That's also one thing I wrote down. Just a lot of like just barely missed stuff, just not punishing things.
Yeah, and that one comes just with general matchup knowledge, being able to read certain situations and react by muscle memory. Great block on the overhead.
Very good.
Saw some good patience on that block, but still got knocked out of it anyway.
Catches back. That's what that's really nice.
That feels so bad when it happens to you.
It really does. But then the unfortunate combo drop.
Yeah.
Just there at the end.
And that one is just an issue of tightening up the execution, which I'm sure they'll be able to manage that in no time at all.
Of course.
Ooh, not so good burst, but does not get punished for it. Okay.
There's a lot of mostly, as it seems, there's a lot of going high and then low on BTF's end, like a lot of JH into 2K.
Yeah.
So that's probably a thing to look out for against BTF specifically, but
now, wait, let's okay. Now, so this match in general started out in Zounch's favor, right? I would say that, he was able to control the space and also get stop Milia from really being able to run what she wanted to. And as it went on, BTF, being a player that can adapt very quickly, found kind of the holes in the armor, so to speak, and was able to capitalize on that. As well as, longer sets generally, certain fundamental parts will start to break away if you're newer to tournaments.
definitely. I've been down that road before many times, but
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
are there common situations you should wake up backdash dish? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that. So, disc Oki, unless Melia knocks you down with 2D or hair car, disc Oki won't be true. So they have to meet you with something. So if you read like a spacing where they're likely not going to cross over you, backdashing is a great call, I think. It's a nice idea. But it depends on where the disc sort of lands on your character. If it's really far behind you, which can happen sometimes, then, of course, it's probably not a great idea. But there's definitely some opportunities where you could wake up backdash disc. I think a good one, as we saw here, after the super that Milia does. What is it called? It's like the wheel that she tosses across the ground.
I just call it
She
projectile
doesn't
super.
actually... What was that? Sorry?
Oh, I just call it projectile super. Go ahead.
Projectile super, sure. But after projectile super, if she doesn't follow it up, she has to do like a Misra cancel disc to get even close enough to you to actually land it. So that's like one spot where you could very feasibly backdash and get out, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think that the match was as one-sided as someone might make it sound. I think that with just a few little adjustments here and there, that match could have gone either way.
I think so as well, yeah.
Let's see. Now, Zounch, I know you're here. how do you feel about kind of what we've talked about, or do you think that there's maybe something that you'd like us to elaborate more on?
Damn, I see.
Good answer. Okay. Oh no. Oh, this is bad.
This next game is it's interesting.
It's
Pyro.
yeah. Okay.
Could you elaborate on our CS pressure? Sure. What is it exactly that you'd want to know about it?
Okay, I'm gonna.
There's a couple of spots in the replay where you could see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. Okay, so that's like a CS combo knockdown. Okay, I don't think you really get to see it here.
Duel 1. Let's rock. Jump there. Jump there. Steer.
Yeah, see, like right there, that didn't quite work out that time, but you can see that you had the chance to do something on your wake up there after that wheel super.
This is
That
a
was a good
wonderful
spot.
place to pause.
Yeah, exactly. This is great. What's that? I think this part is actually CS pressure. As you can see right here, she started off with CS there,
Mm-hmm.
and then she went for Mad Moon to try and open you up. Because as you can see, BTF right now has meter. So if this Bad Moon lands, that's a full combo.
Right.
But if she doesn't have meter, the more likely thing that will happen is that she'll try to go for CS into 2S, because that gives her more reward at that stage, since she can't RC it, but CS 2S will still get her a decent combo with a knockdown at the end. How does Bad Moon work? Bad Moon is an overhead. So what happens is, when BTF does this, what she's doing is she's pressing CS, jump canceling, and then instantly going for Bad Moon. So an instant overhead, or Tiger Knee input, if you want to call it that. And basically, the thing about it is, to get a CS2S, it's unreactable, right? You can't really... They hit at roughly the same time, you can't really react to either, so you have to guess. But what I'm trying to say is, if you know that Milia has meter, it's often more advantageous to guess towards Bad Moon, because there's more of a combo there for her at that point. And without, then you don't really get any reward at all as Milia, so...
Yeah. So to elaborate a little bit, honestly, the reward with beater even is pretty low. Realistically, if you compare it to her using meter to extend any combo, this is a typically low damage way to do so. However, it will almost always and almost assuredly lead to a wall break. So the concept is that she's cashing in that meter to be able to get the wall break, which will inevitably lead to gaining a lot more meter later on, even though it's likely going to result in returning back to neutral. It's still in her best interest to be able to gain that meter from getting that overhead and also the extra damage. Let's see. But yeah, so this is going to be kind of a player-by-player thing, and it's a little bit difficult within a tournament because you have not too many matches to be able to adapt. But as you play against certain Milia players, you'll learn their tendencies towards when they like to use it. So it's going to be something where basically you're going to have to guess, but also this is a game where you play against the other player a lot of times, and so once you learn that player's tendencies to Bad Moon usage, you can get a better idea of when you should be going to try and block it.
Yeah, you can start learning to anticipate it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And of course, anticipation is going to be your main tool against Milia because a lot of what she's doing is very difficult to actually react to.
Yeah, as Ma saying in the chat as well, you only really ever see BTF go for it if she has the meter to make it safe. So
Correct. That's right.
it's just something you need to track in mind. It's much like looking at Naga's blood gauge, but in this case, it's to try and avoid a mix-up.
Right. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, there's some people in here that I haven't shouted out to. Metal Face Doom, if you're still here, thanks a lot for dropping in. I think I saw Vicky in here. Could be wrong. I think they said something about Among Us, so I just completely ignored it. Anyway,
Yeah.
hopefully, hello. Hopefully that some of that information might help you, and also the really cool thing is that BTF is generally good about talking through matchups with people. I'm gonna be honest. I was a little bit disheartened when I saw that they jumped into a match right when we were about to start.
Yeah.
I looked at the chat and I was like, can't you guys wait a little bit? But anyway, all right. If you do have questions, we'll talk about it. Now the next one is actually from. Well, let's.
We could do that, but we could also just pick a different one. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
That order.
Well, let's. Okay, this is a submission that we received, and I don't think that I need to say anything, but I do think it needs to be played immediately.
Yeah, this is an incredibly important one for sure.
Now that was an Axel match, I guess.
This was really a matchup between Ebook and Pluto Computing.
I think that this was also a match between Ibuk and My Sanity. And I will say, without a doubt, that I lost. It says here that I played Kai, which, first off, that wasn't me. And also it says, the comment along with it is, my Axel kind of dangerous. Now, we can go ahead and we can go through it one more time, because it's a pretty short match. I obviously get cleaned out here.
Yep, that's... These combos are magnificent.
It's just... next level is really the only way I can put it. Right.
It's really beyond my understanding, if I'm perfectly honest. This is way above my head.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need some higher level commentators, some people more experienced in the field. Anyway, I think we can move on. Next...
Thank you for your submission, Ebook.
I'm trying to figure out if it's possible for us to kind of weave non-Nagoriyuki matchups in here, and it's very difficult. That's all I'm going to say about it.
We have, not counting this one, we've got exactly one. What we could do, because what Ma has graciously done is every single round set, he divided it up into a single streamable link, so we could play one of them between each of them.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought that you submitted that. Anyway, okay, so...
No, that wasn't me.
We're not going to do that. That's a little bit much to just oh yeah, here's one match, go to another match. It's fine. We're gonna forget about trying to do that. Instead, we will just bring up Zounch's match against Fred D. Fazbear, who apparently is they're famous from some other game that I've never played before. So we'll go ahead and jump right in here.
Shout out to Pinoy Devil for this one. Great name.
Yeah.
I think they've since rebranded it again, so...
I'm going to... I'm going to refrain from commenting on that.
Look at that clash, god!
Yeah, so... Now... Okay. Let's stop for a second, take a deep breath. Lots of things happen there extremely quickly, okay? It wouldn't be a stretch to say that Pinoy Devil is a wild boy, okay? All sorts of moves and all sorts of attacks are coming out all at once, and there's very little in the way of blocking. Now, that can be a good thing, but you have to learn to kind of shift that in your favor, right? So, honestly, from this first round, we're just seeing they're swinging. Both players are swinging.
Going ham.
Yeah, exactly.
First, just barely out of range for that FS follow-up after the kill. This clash is so dumb.
Right.
And then we go right into the corner. Ah, there we go. There's the patented Pinoy Devil meaty Fafnir.
Right. Now we see just going right into the Tyrant Rave. Now, okay. I'm sprouting gray hairs just watching this round. Now, something to keep in mind here is basically the method of play at work here is that as the sole player, basically the concept of FS is really what drives the whole match forward. We're going to see a lot, and we saw a lot right there, where FS was basically used over and over again and eventually catches something because that move is very, very strong, right? Give me a second.
No, yeah, Soul FS is still a really good button, of course.
Right.
After some of the changes that have been made, but there's more ways around it now. So
that's very true. And so it's going to be important to leverage different defensive mechanics to be able to counter it, basically. Now, after the wall break, that goes back into a neutral situation, and it felt like both players were trying to catch something there, and in that case, it worked out in Soul's favor.
Yeah, the pattern that do a super right after wall break strat is interesting. I believe that if that super was used to wall break instead, the round would have just been over. But
that's true.
This is always a lot funnier. That's for sure. I'm a big proponent of do a meterless wall break and then instantly wail, but it is often better to just use the super to wall break to begin with. But yeah, I mean, it worked out this time.
Right.
And spoilers, it'll work out a couple more times. But
now, that is a good point. Even just, like, not even from a damage standpoint, but from the concept of using wall break super. Not everybody knows this, but basically, if you stick your opponent to the wall in Guilty Gear Strive and you hit with an overdrive to break the wall, that will cause a hard knockdown at the start. So normally when you wall break, that's going to return both players to a neutral situation, which can actually benefit the person that gets wall broken because now they're not in the corner anymore. But the super, overdrive afterwards, or overdrive to break the wall, will give you a hard knockdown. Yes, you do. And that will be a huge advantage, obviously, for, I don't have to explain that part, but yes.
Lots of characters can follow up their pressure really easily.
Mm-hmm.
Mei can do safe jumps. I know for a fact Kai can set up his Oki stuff, all that sort of stuff. It's really good for most characters.
Right, and as a match is happening, it can be difficult to realize that that's what's happening. But yeah, that's going to be... You're going to want to shift your wall breaks towards hitting with super, with overdrive, to be able to get that hard knockdown for basically any character.
And for a couple characters, it's like really important as well, especially characters you absolutely do not want to play neutral against. So,
Right.
for instance, if you're a rushdown character, you really don't want to play neutral against Axel or Happy Chaos. So breaking super with wall there, or wall with super there rather, is really, really important.
Oh yeah, those characters specifically, if you're playing against them, if you are going to wall break, you want to make sure that it's with your overdrive. If you're going to wall break against Chaos, you don't if you don't have the meter to hit with super, just don't even bother. Just figure out some other way. Yeah,
It's probably better to just learn resets, like learn how to like set up Oki near the wall instead of finishing combos, just
Right.
for that character alone.
right. Okay, let's go to the next round.
Let's rock.
Round starts 6H.
6H really punishable on block, but it's really spaced weirdly, so I understand missing it here, but
Right.
ah,
Okay, gets the blood rage here. We actually see a rare moment of patience there after the blood rage from Pinoy Devil. Hits with the Tyrant Rave. We're gonna see
you can
here
see
hard
this right
knockdown.
here. Hard knockdown. Not capitalized on extremely well, but
Right.
it is there. Ah, that's unfortunate. Just
Misses the
barely
follow
off.
up and then gets hit by an FS. So now what you'll see there, there was a moment where the action was brought to kind of a standstill, and as the Nagoriyuki player, you're going to want to press the issue there, because if you don't, you're just losing health at that point. You're not really you're basically just draining out while your opponent just waits for you to die. You know what I'm saying?
Ebook made it to the Twitch chat just now, by the way. Your
Wonderful.
Axel was very dangerous indeed.
Quite dangerous.
I don't think I'll ever recover from it, to be honest, but
You won't recover. It was happening to me, apparently. Also, hello, Sybil. Also, if I'm saying anyone's name wrong, let me know and I'll not do that anymore. Let's see.
how you be landing combos when the game is trying to destroy your computer? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
and Ibuk's computer apparently did bite the bullet recently due to these combos, so, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, indeed. Ah, that's a great punish right there.
Yeah. I like
That
the 5K
5
to beat the round start 6H.
Oh,
Okay.
weird RC there. I think you could have just splatted there earlier, but
Yeah. Oh, great close slash.
really good close slash. But not close enough for the setup, and there's the finish.
Wow. Okay.
What an ending. Okay.
Whew. Anyway, okay. So now, in the first match, we did not really see Soul using Bandit Bringer or Bandit Revolver all that much. It was just kind of a slugfest. And so in this match, in this round, we were able to see a little bit more of kind of different maneuverability tools that he can use to get around some attacks. I like seeing more variety there, but a lot of this, I feel, was more Nagoriyuki kind of hanging himself. And the resulting loss of life, let Soul get a huge advantage there.
Sure, for sure. Popping Blood Rage always blows really hard. But here as well, there was just a bunch of pretty good reads, frankly, on Soul's part. Knowing that, okay, they just pop Blood Rage. I just bounced off the corner. They're going to press a button. It's time for reversal. It's going
Right.
to come out.
Now, I do wonder how much of that was planned, but that is not for me to comment on.
I assume the best. To be. It was definitely not just the, hey, this is comedic timing, I'll do this.
Right. Okay, so, next round.
Roll 2. Let's rock.
Oh, that was great, that 2K, but... I think I mentioned, I saw Core mention earlier that, Zounch isn't buffering Beyblade properly. Otherwise it would have just comboed.
Right.
This is great blocks, this is a decent... Blocking Bandit Bringer is such a rough time as well. It's an RPS situation.
Yeah, it is.
It's only like -2, and the guy on the other hand has a DP.
Right.
So it's really rough to just go for a punish there. But hey, guessed right this time.
Yeah, so one thing that's definitely worth noting is the way Bandit Bringer looks, to me, feels like you should be able to block and punish it. And also feels like you should be able to just see that it's happening and 6p. And both of those are kind of not right. Like, basically, if you see it, you block it, and you try to punish it, it's like you said, it's -2. So, pretty much, Soul's going to mash DP and he's going to be all good, right? Now, in most cases, your anti-air options do not reach up to where he is at the moment that he starts doing it. His ability to delay it means that when he starts doing it, he can hold it, and then you do your anti-air, and then he comes down afterwards and ends up counter-hitting you or punishing you, and then you get hit anyway, you die. Nagoriyuki doesn't quite suffer from that because I believe his 2H will reach, considering it reaches the heavens.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
2H might just beat it no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I think normal Bandit Bringer is like 30 frame startup to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see it happening, you could probably 2H and at least trade. But yeah, in general, that move is just really rough to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, so that'll be kind of a moment to recognize as a Nagoriyuki player, you can go for that 2H, and if that trades, I feel like that's still in your favor, because it'll discourage them from doing it again.
I think even in the moment, that's just straight up in favor because Soul is still airborne, so you can still chase. I think.
Not well. If it trades, no.
Oh, it's both get counter hits, so they both crumple.
Yeah. Also, hello, Daring. Welcome to the stream. Invol. I'm not sure if that's someone that I know, but hope you guys are doing well. Anyway, let's go back. Let's go to the next game. Now, wasn't that 2?
Pathetic.
I think that was the second one already. Yeah. So this is number 3.
Oh, okay.
Or
It's first of 3. I'm sorry. I was confused. All right. I feel like everybody runs Strive tournaments a little bit different.
Yeah, this particular tournament I think was first to 3 all the way until finals because the time before we did first to 2 until finals, and people were really confused because top 8 wasn't first to 3.
Right.
So they changed up to that.
Okay.
What? Yeah. Go ahead.
So oh my goodness.
Yeah, the well throw.
I'm seeing some great patience here from Zounch playing. Basically, just keeping on the defensive for this round, which I really like. And then kind of waiting to find the right spot to strike back. The issue with this is that Soul Bad Guy players, they play Soul Bad Guy, and he can run up and wild throw you. Now in this situation, we saw 2 straight and with the
first we just see a fake gunflame.
Yeah.
He gets a counter hit, runs up, throws, runs up, does it again. He's
Goes
gonna
for
try
a
the
third
third
one.
time. Of course. Great read there.
Okay.
And yeah, that's the unfortunate.
Yeah.
Another reversal.
So the big thing there to keep in mind was the amount of risk that Zounch had cranked up for that interaction. The wild throw doesn't really do that much damage, but when you've got that much risk, that's going to be costly. And so at that point, any reversal is going to cause you a lot of trouble. Nova, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. But anyway, yeah. So that round, honestly, I would have said that was in Zounch's favor, but things got a little too wild.
One other thing to note, of course, is to try and faultless defense against SoulFS, because it sends him across the screen.
Yes.
Especially if you manage to IB as well, it just sends them full screen, basically. It's a really good way to try and keep him out.
So, that is actually a huge change to Soul Bad Guy in one of the early patches in the game, was his FS, the pushback that you get when you faultless defense it is much greater than it was before that. So if you burn a little bit of meter on getting those FDs in there, you're going to see a big difference in how he's able to continue his pressure. You'll probably see Soul Bad Guy whiff a button, and you'll be able to clap him for it.
I was going to say, you're going to go right in on that.
Yeah.
You want to FD, well, both is fine, but FS is the big one.
Yes.
Zounch.
Yeah.
FS or CS. CS is also fine to FD, of course, but FS is the big one. HDP used there. Really likes to fake gun flame.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how plus that is. I think it's still minus at that point. So you might as well just try and take your turn at least. But just make him actually commit to normal gun flame.
Okay, and so here we saw there was a lot of crazy scramble nonsense going on. But the big thing I want to talk about is the usage of blood during this round. If I can be honest, which I like to do, it feels like the moves that are being used here are in such a way that it's just get the damage, get the hit, we'll worry about what happens afterwards. And unfortunately, you can't really do that, especially not against Soul Bad Guy. There were basically moments where it felt like you just really wanted to get some kind of hit on him, and it didn't really pan out. And then as a result, we see the blood rage here. A little bit of patience and kind of picking your spots within those interactions would go a long way. But it seems like you can recognize that on your own, so I'm not gonna keep going on that.
Oh, and then the big counter hit, but you still grab him out of it.
Good throw.
Wow.
Oh, grab!
Oh, again, just barely not. Oh, and it just barely. Of course.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
6H. Yeah. 6H counter hit round start is really.
Okay. I need Boy Boyang Pinoy Devil. I need him in the chat right now because I need answers. Okay. Alright. I need to know the thought process. That was...
What?
Okay. It worked.
The real question is, was there a thought process?
Right. Now, again, we want to assume the best. But...
Yeah, but...
in this...
There is a limit. There is a limit, though. I mean... That was a soul round. I agree, Nova. That was one of the soul rounds I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was definitely a soul round. Now, I know that when it comes to tournament, your instincts come out, and so there's a lot less in the way of thinking on all the important things and pieces of information that you might have pulled beforehand. Boy Boyang is going for 6H.
Is...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just checking in the chat. Pooh Fighters is boy wearing 90% confidence, so we get a perhaps. He might be already here.
That, that's definitely not him. But anyways,
It could be.
if you look,
Repping himself for the chat. Makes sense. Makes sense.
so if you look, he starts with 6H at round start. I want to say every time. It's close to every time. And so it's not necessarily something you need to call out because you don't know how it's going to play out that you try to call it out. So in my opinion, I think that at round start, it's a good idea to just block.
If you block it, you can punish it. It's really minus. You can't special cancel it.
Right. Yeah, and so if you don't, or if you're not ready for the concept of punishing it, you'll want to spend some time in the lab getting the timing for that right. But basically,
5K just beats it flat out. That's Nago privilege right there. That makes sense.
okay, so I believe it does beat it. That's good. Just block it. Or just block, or start to walk backwards a little bit at round start, and I think you're gonna see a big
Improvement.
Yeah, a lot of this is not going to happen. But anyway.
Perfect.
Oh, okay. Thank you, announcer. Okay, so personally, if I had to, trying to be objective about this, I try to not be mean, but I feel like Zounch might have been mentally checked out by the time this match came about. And that's something that I could see with the way that they were playing, as well as the options that they chose to go for in a lot of different situations. The match against BTF that was earlier had a lot more counterplay and more conversions in their favor. And I know this is a big thing to keep in mind for anyone playing in tournament. You have to get kind of a mental longevity to the way that you're playing and find a way to keep your head in the game, so to speak. And so this is a good chance to talk about and see kind of firsthand the contrast between the two matches. Now, it's very hard, it's difficult, and it's not something that you can just decide. But when you do lose, especially if you lose against somebody that's really good early in the tournament, you lose to BTF. BTF has won every tournament before it. It could be kind of harsh on the mental, right? But you want to find a way to reset. Not even so much endurance, but just kind of being able to step back and be like, okay, that match is over with. We need to move to the next one. That concept within Guilty Gear Strive especially is extremely important because in previous Guilty Gear games, it was about not tilting off, and that's always been important, right? But in this game, matches happen so fast, so bullet train fast, that if you can't put the mistake you made in one round behind you, your entire match is going to go poorly.
Yeah, that is what it is. I mean, personally, I'm a May player. I've won games in 6 seconds. I've lost games in the same amount of time. It's just sometimes you just get owned and you just have to deal with it. Just put it behind you and move on. Right,
and it's much easier said than done, but that is going to be a big improvement on yourself as a player and your ability to adapt to different situations. Because after you're checked out, you're not adapting. You're going to win if your opponent is also checked out, and you don't want to bet on that.
For sure.
Okay. So we'll close out on that one. Zounch, hopefully we gave you some feedback that you're happy with. something I actually forgot to say earlier is that once I do finish with this stream, I'm going to upload all of it to my YouTube, and I'll try to section it off so that you can find specific parts. I am tearing my hair out reading that message. And so
Be posting about Among Us. Oh man.
let's
People are
see.
going to post the fucking oven give next time they play against me just to try and get me out.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Damn.
Okay, you need to disappear. That's fine. Here, I'm gonna drop that's my YouTube link. But those are your matches, so that's fine. You got to stay for the matches you put in, so that's great. I'm just glad you were able to stay for that. So let's go ahead and close this one. And
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming. Thank you even more for submitting. That's huge. Okay.
We literally could not have done it without you, so.
That's true. Alright, let's see the next match. Okay. How do I comment on my own match?
I'm still figuring that out because there's one for me as well coming up at the end, so.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up this match, and what I'd like to do is I'm going to try and speak as though like my thought process on some of the things that I do. Now, a big thing is that the things I'm going to be saying are assuming that I'm thinking at all, which is not necessarily true. So, I'm going to try to justify things that I do. Excuse me. Now, something I actually wanted to speak on that a lot of people that are newer may not quite understand when it comes to playing these games. When I play, the way that I play is based more largely on the feeling of what's going on, kind of trying to control the flow of the game, and less on taking kind of like a clinical look at it. That is not to say that I don't know specific things are good or bad in different situations, but it's so like when you see like a top player that like people say like, oh man, that dude's wild or something like that, like he'll just do shit. That's like kind of true, but it doesn't really apply in a situation where that quotation wild player knows that they can get an advantage. So that's something to keep in mind for yourself as well as when you're playing matches against people. The amount of time and understanding that better players will have in different situations is in such a way that things that you might have to sit and process are already muscle memory for those players. This is not commenting on myself or my play, but just more or less when you see better players, really, really, really good players talking about that sort of thing, that's not really something that you want to adapt into your own play until you have a massive understanding of how to play the game.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm not an incredible player myself, so I can't really say anything much else about that than what you've said, but one thing I will say about watching top players is sometimes you'll just find stuff that you can do to like upgrade your game plan personally. Not necessarily like, oh, they're just going to try and interrupt it with this, or they're going to try this option because XYZ, but just like setups or other small things. It's a great way to watch for stuff like that, or just how they interact with people. For instance, I've been watching Yu recently. That's a Japanese Mei player. And one thing they really like to do over there, and you in particular, is using Rising JP as an anti-air, because it covers certain things other anti-airs don't really do. Mm-hmm. So stuff like that is what I've been trying to work into my play a little more. But other things you also does are completely insane to me, so I just don't even bother. I'll figure that out when I'm a little bit better.
Right. And so, now one thing that I think is really great about Guilty Gear Strive as a game is that it's a lot easier to recognize certain things that players are doing, there's not as much nuance to what players are doing as there is in other Gear games. So when you're seeing what a player does, in a lot of cases, you understand what they were doing when you see it. Now, that's not always true, but there are a lot of situations and a lot of setups and combos and stuff like that where you can just look at it and be like, oh, okay, they did this in this situation, you know?
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm gonna try and do my best here. So personally, I think this matchup is very scary, even if it might be in KS's favor. It's still very, very terrifying. And so, as you'll see here, I'm trying to kind of get out of Nagoriyuki's range and wait for him to make a mistake. So, in this particular situation, I was trying to see if I could get Nagoriyuki to go for a 2H and then kind of get out of it that way. Now, obviously, you see I'm able to get a conversion here, get some resources, throw into the corner. And now, that situation is greatly in Chaos's favor. So, the Nagoriyuki player has to sit there and wait, or this is going to happen to them. And so, once again, I'm just waiting. At this point in the match, I am seeing the blood meter, and I am thinking to myself, Korn is going to kill himself, and I need to get bullets. So if you look, this is something that a lot of players don't do against these characters is watch their meters, and you have to for both of them because you have to be aware of what they're able to do here. So there, I went for the jump S because I did not want to get bit. Obviously, that's a big deal.
By blood, so there it is.
Yeah, I get bit anyway. That'll happen.
And this is why the Nago matchup is incredibly scary, because
Right.
it was one hit, and we're back in like a neutral state. Well, almost a neutral state.
Right. So now this match. So this match very quickly swung both in two completely different directions. Right. Now, once Korn got the bite off, I was thinking to myself like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. So I tried to do something to escape, got clapped for it, and then Korn got a little bit too overzealous and ended up blood raging, and realistically threw the round. That was definitely one that they could have taken with that.
Yeah, as well, the one true thing that always happened, like what I saw as well, is there was no super wall break.
Mm-hmm.
And that's rough.
Yeah, now the wall break super was not possible. Nagoriyuki didn't have enough meter to actually be able to do that.
Oh, I didn't see that, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But the thing is that we generally just wall break out of habit, and maybe instead just no wall break at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go for a reset or something.
So
OP situation.
In that round, I was just like completely just after the first like interaction, I was just like, all right, forget it. You got this one. It's all good. And that's actually something that you have to do in this game a lot, is to just kind of be like, you know what, this round, I'll do what I can, but that's fine. This one can go, and we can get the next one.
Yep. In a lot of matchup notes I've seen in different characters, there's always one constant for the Nago matchup, and it's usually sometimes he just smokes you, and that's okay.
Right. Now, this round we saw there was no wall break, and this round was like a heartbreaker for me, because when I get air thrown by Nagoriyuki, that tells me that I'm doing something terribly wrong. Like, why did I let this happen? And then some of the damage on some of these follow-ups were like out of this world.
Look at this stupid shit. The 6H.
Right. So
It gets hit by clone, and then that's that's half the life you had left. It's so dumb.
So a big thing here was that I had some risk gauge, and that's what this ridiculous amount of damage is here. And then chooses not to wall break, goes into the bite, and then that's just death. After that, I was mentally ching done. Right, game. And so and so after that happened, I kind of felt like I needed to recalibrate how I was playing and kind of shift something. I didn't know what exactly it was, but I was thinking about it throughout this round, or this loading basically, because I was not happy with how that went.
Understandably so, of course, but now here that's always evil. With what is that? With Beyblade, you don't want to land with a button there, and for anyone else watching, because they will just press CS and you will die.
Yeah, close S is a crazy button. It's gonna get you good.
Now this is really good on your part, really making use of your space and your normals to try and get around Nago's insane range in number 2.
Okay, so here's one thing that happened there. After I got the wall break, that was after a super, I believe. So it did a hard knockdown on Nagaruyuki. You can choose as Chaos. I think that it's better to try and recoup your resources as you can while he's knocked down. And then what I did was create space with the scapegoat, and then I saw him jump up and do a BRC drift forward. Now, while I was aiming, if I tried to go for the shot there, there's like a billion different bad things that could have happened if I tried to do that. So instead of trying to like hit him on his way down, I just decided to put away the gun and then let whatever happens next happen. Because whatever it is, it's not as bad as a Chaos player. Losing your rhythm from an RC will create like a snowball effect of just horrible interactions. So yeah, just put it away, fine, block.
2H, what a button. Really good use of like your movement to like just deny him the blood refunds on those normals as well.
Right, that was the idea.
Definitely the idea. 100%.
Okay,
burst.
I get burst baited here. Boom. Big damage.
But again, not quite the super wall break, so we're just back to neutral.
Right.
And then there's the show special. I put this in my notes. Backdash abuse. It's really, really good.
Right. Now, a little bit of background. I started playing fighting games competitively with Street Fighter 4. And the character that I played was Rose. And she has like probably one of the best backdashes in the game. And so backdash is very like well ingrained into how I play, which has good and bad aspects. But a lot of players don't think of backdashing in the corner as an option. And there are a lot of things that it actually beats that players might not think about. Now, as most people know, the tech window, or the amount of time that you're able to break a throw in this game is longer than it was before. When the game first came out, it was a very tight window. Now it's slightly less tight.
I think it went from like 2 to 5 frames or something.
That sounds right. Like that. Yeah, so now one thing the late great Hotashi said, God rest his soul, he said that in a situation where you think your opponent is going to throw, you should instead try to backdash, because the result of dodging a throw is it's just flat out better. And if you went for the throw and they didn't go for it, you will get counter hit either way. You'll eat a full combo at that point. So the negative is basically the same, but the positive is huge. Is hugely in your favor. So that's a little bit of background why I try to get the timing on those backdashes in the corner.
Yep. I know for a fact that punishing a backdash or a throw, if you punish a throw attempt with a backdash as Mei, you just straight up get a full dust combo. So that's the reason I like to do it.
Right.
But that's also a very good one. What's also really important, what happened here was if you backdash and the opponent doesn't delay their meaty slightly, they still whiff. So you also, if they're not really doing that, you also can catch them off guard with that.
Yes.
Which is what happened right there in the start.
Right.
So it's a really powerful option, especially in the corner when not many people want to go for that per se.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of curse, and there's a shot.
Yeah. So I wasn't able to convert off of that, which a lot of times when you get that counter hit clear shot, it'll make them fly into the air a little bit higher than I'm used to. Yo, Aja, what's good, man? This whole stream is backseating. Anyways, and so what I was doing here was I was monitoring blood usage and seeing what he would do with it.
Very high, great 6p, and then this time we do get a little bit of zoning. And there's not a lot Nago can do here. It's all out of blood. And
yeah, so at the point of that Beyblade, I was because I was already watching the blood meter, and then I saw they went for the Beyblade. Just block. I don't have to do anything else now. The game is already decided for me.
Because the second they leave a gap, there goes their health. Yeah. Almost dead. the trade on the RC is really good.
You're not the reason I exist. Not yet.
I assumed you'd press thinking I wouldn't special cancel. I mean, it's possible, but
I generally assume that the Nagoro Yuki player is going to special cancel if they have the chance.
Yeah, they love doing it, so might as well just assume they will.
It's really good, so why not, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so one thing I've tried to get better about is there are certain characters where their close S will be like really, really oppressive. I think that like specifically against Nagoriyuki and Milia, their close S works very well as an anti-air.
Yeah, those characters, Mei can do it a little as well. I know this. Some other characters, but Naga was the big one personally.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
Milia,
right.
Of course.
That's definitely right. Mei has very good there's a good verticality to that, and if you get caught by it, you get hit by it 3 times, and then
you get hit by it like up to 5 times, and you just cry. It's insane.
Yeah, you just watch your health bar melt. But that's why now, this is kind of an overall Guilty Gear thing in this game, especially. The S and H buttons are very attractive buttons. Basically, whatever your character does, those buttons do so many cool things, and the weaker buttons, punch and kick, since you can't really Gatling from them, don't really do the super cool combo stuff. And one thing I've had to do is curb away from using Jump S because I love that move so much. It's honestly not even very good, but it looks cool.
It looks very cool.
Yeah, so when you're seeing that I'm in the air just blocking those close S's, that's because I am stopping myself from doing Jump S, because if I did Jump S there, I would be dead. That would be it.
Yep.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about RC slowdown. I'm not a time wizard.
Yeah, BRC stuff and like trading RCs is like such a weird like situation to be in. It doesn't come up very often, but
Yeah. Okay, so in that situation, I was backdashing in the corner to try and dodge a bite attempt, and he did not go for it, and so I felt like it was necessary to burst out. Um, Sorry, go ahead.
okay. No, I was just gonna say Discord stream is kind of slow now, but maybe it's just on my end.
Okay. Just make sure there's no issues.
I think it went away right.
Okay. Now, something I see quite a bit is, or something that happens to me quite a bit is when I'm in the corner and people burst to keep me in the corner. That could be very scary. I mean, especially against Nagano or Yuki. But I think that is a very good option, a very good way to use burst. Not sure what exactly he went for there, but yeah, got the super wall break. We're gonna get resources here.
Just focus off. Oh, that's another great option, meter use-wise, doing a BRC right after this the scene change.
Mm-hmm.
It can really mess with people's heads.
Yeah, and if it's not a hard knockdown situation, the BRC can even sometimes slow down and let you catch things that you couldn't normally.
Definitely. Oh, this is a very cool conversion. Anything out of 2S looks really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Just very good patience. Just using a lot of blood here as well.
Right.
Good PRC used there to try and just catch you, but the backdash again. Just using your movement really well to get around those big normals. Ah, JH. JH is so funny when it's on high blood because it just becomes disjointed.
Yeah.
It's really, really weird. You have to like delay or you have to like alter the way you anti-air it depending on their blood gauge, which is really rough.
Right. Okay, so we see like a failed conversion there for me, and I got kind of like flustered and got counter hit for it.
Walking under the side swap so you get corner, really good.
Went for the 2D, did not get punished for it, which is nice. Oof. So Korn stepped backwards to get out of the burst range, but misjudged how long it would take for me to actually land, and so it didn't really work. It didn't really work in the way that it didn't really work in his favor.
Yep.
And so here, I actually decided to challenge in the corner because I went for corner backdash so many times. I didn't feel like it was a good idea to try and go for that again. So at that point, I just tried to poke out and see if I could catch something.
Okay. And there's the shot combo we all know and love.
Yeah.
Ran out of focus though, so gotta get it back. Oh, there's the 5H range.
Yeah.
Just barely not popping, but that Fukio just barely did it.
And so this round, I felt like it was definitely in Korn's favor, but you know, blood rage can just completely turn things upside down. I felt like, let's see,
Like right after this Fukio, it was just.
oh no, I gotta go a little bit further back. So during this combo, I'm pretty sure I had an execution error.
Yeah, I think you whiffed the final shot there. Yeah,
Because
you ran out of meter before you could use it.
Yeah, what I was trying to do there was actually do super, and then I was going to try and focus before I ran out of meter there. So I was like kind of screwed up here.
Yeah.
I used the meter to hit the super, and I think I know that was a bit too greedy, especially with Nagoriyuki at that level of blood. But luckily, everything worked out, you know?
All planned.
Yeah, and that was... that was just... You know, I love it when a good plan comes together, and there it did.
Okay, so Korn says, so each 5H refunds enough blood to do a Fukyo. They did Fukyo 5H, or 5H Fukyo, 5H Fukyo, thinking it'd be safe, but they were already way too close to popping, so they didn't have time to land another 5H.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, it's just like a very, like very minor mistake that led to that.
Yeah. DP round start. Oh, fake DP. JD. Yeah, JD, that's something, that's my fault for that happening. I jump way too much, and he catches me with it every single time.
Oh, so. Yeah. So in that situation, he did a 5H, and what I was trying to do was 6H to try and catch an FS, and that was not what happened.
Nope. Just, slightly different there.
Okay.
The reset.
Korn was so convinced that I was going to burst right there. And they could have just finished that combo and decided not to.
I don't know if they wanted to finish that combo because the wall health was really low, and as you can see, he didn't have super. So. No,
if he got another hit and it wall splatted, it would have been enough meter to get super.
Okay, then it's just really scared of the burst. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Now, granted, ended up winning the round because of that corner situation anyway.
Yeah, Nago cornering you is scary. What?
Oh, okay, I was like, is that my Steam? Am I that?
No,
dumb?
that's this will be the first of many interesting things we'll see in that corner, I think.
Okay.
Scapegoat.
So, this interaction as Chaos is very scary because basically when I'm at mid-screen and then I can do Scapegoat, a lot of times, you know, a Chaos player will just stand inside of it and then keep running pressure. Of course, it's Ma who we had to wait a million years for to get their replay. Anyway, but Nagoriyuki's able to continue his his, I guess you could call it an auto combo, his SSSS, where basically if you just put out Scapegoat and try to stand within it, it's going to it'll catch you and you'll die for it. So. What I tried to do there was maneuver around the Scapegoat instead of actually standing inside of it.
Yeah. That makes sense. The throw.
Now here, I had no bullets.
Just go for the throw, it's fine.
And so I was convinced that if I tried to stop and reload, that Korn was just going to go nuts and kill me.
Yeah, just press 5H, yeah.
Yeah. He was already above blood level 2, and so that 5H would have just clipped me and just ruined my day.
Yeah, that's... I was gonna be like, I would have jumped there too. There we go, that's a lot of blood, but there's the bite.
Yeah, and I was convinced that this round was going to be very difficult to win because of that bite.
But that backdash does it again.
Right.
Beyblade.
Counter hit Beyblade, very strong.
Oh! And this is gonna make him pop too because all that stuff whiffed.
Yep.
That backdash was incredible.
Yeah, so the plan was to avoid a bite. And he did DP instead, which either way it worked out, and I was able to basically. My plan here was just to try and get out of the corner. I wasn't really expecting the blood rage, but it played out the way it did, and then I was able to take it because of it. But
Yep.
yeah, the big takeaway here is just kind of managing blood levels, because the pressure was really good, the damage was crazy, you know, the neutral was strong, but that this character specifically, if you lose sight of that for just a minute, that'll be it.
Would the second slash have caught the backdash?
Yes.
I wonder about that.
I think so.
It would have.
I feel like pretty certain that it would have.
It does sound like Nago for that to work.
It is a very Nagoriyuki thing for this to work. Yes.
It wouldn't have killed, obviously, and it would probably still lead you to pop anyway, but it would have been a more advantageous situation for sure.
Yeah. He would have at least gotten to play the game after that point.
Yep.
Actually, let me look again, because I want to see what the meter looked like.
So, like right here, he does a Fukyu forward. He does a Beyblade into DP. That was going to make him pop 100%. That's like 2.5 bars worth.
Yeah. Now, something to keep in mind here is actually that if that second hit had caught, he would have gained enough meter to be able to RC and would have been able to probably get a wall break, and that would have been it.
Or just super at that point, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the pop was here, basically.
Yeah. Second hit of uppercut doesn't cause blood, but you used so much blood, it was still building up. Even before you did that Fukyo right there, you were still building blood. So it was going to happen either way.
Maybe.
You were on 2 bars as you did that first spin, and you did like 2 specials after that, so... Just looking at that. I think you would have just popped there no matter what, but... That's just a thing. I'm not a Nago player, I'm just looking at the bar and doing math. That's not how Nago players work, they just know, so...
Yeah,
I'll take your word on it, but... one thing that does come up a lot is just barely using too much blood.
Right. Okay. I swear on Mom, that was...
Corn. The next clip, I made a video because I thought of something, and you're going to really like it if you like 299 blood. Trust me on this one.
Alright, so... Got that one out of the way. Let's go back and take a look at what we got here.
I think I timestamped even the point at which I wanted that. Where was it? Yeah, okay. I'll just give a shout when that's about to happen so we can look at that clip I made.
Cool. Zounch, welcome back. You didn't miss too much. Okay. So the next one there's another corn match against Tricksyfroggy, which should be Giovanna.
Yes.
Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Whoop. Now, I am not sure how much they've been playing this game, but I do know that they have a strong Giovanna, and this character doesn't have too much in terms of complicated mechanics or the way that they play, and so just having kind of a good understanding of neutral will carry you pretty far with this character.
For sure. Giovanna is a really scary character with her dash. It's the best dash in the game. You can cancel it into normals. It's the most dangerous tick throw machine in the game.
Oh yeah.
But what really surprised me about these games, I've already watched a couple of these of course, is the way they use movement to get around Nago's big normals in Blood Bar 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
That like really surprised me, was like really good.
Oh, good just block.
Also, lots of IBs. That's also something I noticed.
Yeah.
This combo is so sick, by the way.
Oh, into the wall splat. I like it. Charge D combos just make me so happy. They look so cool.
Yeah, it's the premier ender for Giovanna. So.
Right. Okay, goes for the bite and then RC's backward. I like that choice. And then also just going in for another. Oh my goodness.
And
okay.
another.
Sometimes it's about sending a message.
Oh, was that a Nago 6K to catch that? That's nuts.
Good. 6H? That's 6H, right?
I thought it was 6K. It's like the foot stomp.
No. Sorry. I was talking about the wall break.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me see if I can find it. I have it like watermarked at like 135 into the round. Oh yeah, like right here it is. So what's gonna happen here is a burst is gonna happen and they're gonna pop, right? So I was 100% convinced that if you route in super here, you wouldn't pop. So I lapped it out, and you just barely don't pop. If we check out that streamable link I sent.
Okay, so we'll pause this for a second.
Okay, but the one thing I was looking at, I don't see Corn super very often, right? But super removes like a bunch of blood. So the thing I wrote down was like try using super more in like routing it into combos. Like the Oki situation might not be as good, but you lose 190 blood. So this is about where you were blood-wise, and this is the exact situation that happened right there. Route into super. It's going to build up a little bit more, and as you can see, just barely doesn't, and then it just drains down to like 1 bar.
Yeah, that's
super
great.
Doesn't stop the momentum if it's still going up though. Yeah, you can see it right there, but I lapped it out in this exact situation, and it just barely doesn't. Right? But using it a little bit to just get that sort of blood drain after you're done, it's really good. I would try routing super into your combos a little more. See right here, it goes up a little bit more after this, and then it just barely doesn't reach.
That's gotta be such a heartbreaker for people for the opponent.
It's incredible psychic damage as well.
Yeah,
but yeah,
like...
just routing into super, I think on Nago especially, is just a really good idea, just because of how much blood it actually drains. I told you would like it if you like 299 blood.
Beyblade into full combo. Wow.
Here again, there we go, that's the super use for the wall break. Going to get both that hard knockdown and a lot of blood drain after this.
Okay, I love the backdash away from the close us.
Yeah, that was a quick call out there. Now we're going into geo pressure. That's a great 5p on that 5D there.
Right. Okay, just gets the throw there.
Just throws.
Definitely good decision making on when to challenge there. And I'm thinking in this matchup in general, it's going to come down to who can pick the better spots to challenge what the other player is doing when they're running their pressure.
Yeah, but that right there, the 2D whiff or the 2H whiff, I look at this as a Mei player and I just see fear. Like in my eyes it just spawns, because those two moves in particular are nightmares for Mei. But in this case they both whiffed, so we just keep going into neutral.
Yeah. Now you see there, Giovanna goes for the 2D, which is a ridiculous huge hitbox, and I like the willingness to just stop what Korn was doing just for the sake of blocking it, because just don't even play around, don't even try to catch it.
That's not enough recovery on it to really challenge it after. That's like the really rough part about it.
Right.
It is the move in a lot of cases, just because it just denies a lot of space. And it's pretty safe.
Ooh.
5D mix
that
up.
Should be it, right? Oh no, one more.
Just enough.
Probably. I didn't think that was gonna kill.
Yeah, Nago guts is pretty high, but look at all that blood use. It's just almost a pop. Oh, it just straight up is a pop actually. But if you air block it,
ooh,
the double throw whip. But yeah, there's a lot of sending it happening right there. Oh, that was really good, by the way.
Yeah, good reactions to 2H. Staying like specifically out of range of 2H to be able to hit with that super.
I'm gonna try it again here, but one thing that you should also know about this super is that it's actually plus on block.
Yeah, and trust me, they will do something after it. I promise.
100%. So just block it, wait a tick, and then punish it.
Yeah, or like if you have an invincible move.
Very good point as well. Just
Yeah.
send it.
I don't think it's a bad choice to try and reversal against it.
No, it's a very common point where they're just going to press a button. So
It's weird. Where I live, the locals, it's kind of like Giovanna Central. Like there are so many really strong Giovanna players.
sounds like a good time.
It's a time.
It's
So, what I would like to see from Korn here is a little bit more usage of 6P as an anti-air. I'm seeing it being used to basically like stop and advance, but there are a lot of situations where Giovanna's kind of been able to just hop up and do whatever. Okay.
God.
So, I saw there that Korn was realizing what was happening with the blood gauge and knew at that moment, okay, I gotta go for a bite here or else this is it. Now,
Oh wait.
I don't think that Trixie was paying attention to that.
No, we're going to see right here that they were not.
Yeah, okay, so the fact that they didn't just wait is 100% they were not paying attention to it.
Because this is now going to happen. I think I wrote this down in my notes, is don't get gimmicked. Nago players, if they have an idea that you're not paying attention to their blood gauge, what they will do is they will down back, FD, just wait it out,
Yeah.
and just check if you're going to approach or not.
Right. And that's something that's it's kind okay, it's a knowledge check, but it's like, all right, do you know what this character does type of thing? You know, like it's not like a super like specific interaction to learn. It's just okay, if you're playing as this character, you need to know that this is going to happen because otherwise you're going to get clapped for it.
You just need to know that, you know, this is how the character works, this is what they can do.
Right. And you know, that's the thing is that Trixie clearly has good understanding of Giovanna and her neutral tools, but if you don't know about the biggest drawback of Nagoriyuki as a character, then it's going to bite you.
Look at that 2D, that's so crazy.
I like that the 5P as an anti-air.
Yeah, exactly, that was really good.
Blocks of gold burst.
Into the full combo, into RC. Like right here again, I think if you routed into super there instead of using that as an RC, you would have just gotten away with it.
Yeah, could have been handled a little bit differently, and I think the outcome would have been different.
I think it's worth looking at the very least.
Okay, there's another spot where a 6P would have been really good as an anti-air.
Oh, look at these combos. BRC on that wake up 5D mix up, but
Very
quite connect.
ambitious with that charged 5D.
Yeah, mostly the thing after because you're really minus there. I don't know why
Yeah,
you pressed.
Okay, gets the
RC.
throw.
Into the really funny combo again, double RC.
Oh, that was wild. The gravity on that was huge. Okay.
Nuts. Into this.
Now, I think that they...
SS, left button. Oh. Gold burst. Oh, gold burst trade. What is this? Life jam?
Okay.
This was really good, by the way. This FRC, PRC.
Yeah, that button, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's the Giovanna button
the small
that
kicks?
The two kicks that catches me
that's-
all the time.
It's a really good low poke.
Yeah.
They can do it out of dashes as well.
Right. It's crazy.
The 6H.
Okay.
Oh, the burst here is so unfortunate.
Yeah. And that was just bad timing. Realistically, Korn didn't really have to do anything to try and bait it. It was just not great timing.
Nope. It was just unfortunate there.
Oh, I like
these are.
Sorry.
I was gonna say these are just Noggle rounds happening right here.
Yeah. I liked that there was like a 5P and then no, there is not. Like, just completely shut down that 5P and ruined.
Yeah, just trying to check forward full kill, but
Right.
unfortunately, it was not the case. So just
Yeah.
dies for it.
And so in that case, that was like a blood in the water situation where basically, Korn was able to recognize that there was not really much happening in terms of adaptation and to just kind of go ham. But that was a great match, really close. And Trixie, clearly a very strong player. It was 3-2, and if they had a little bit more character knowledge, then it could have been a very different.
It could have been a very different story there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. All right, so
Next
now,
up, we should have another and also the final Korn match, if I'm not mistaken.
right. I'll close this. And we'll move this right over here. We're gonna have. We're gonna have Korn versus D.O.N.
D.O.N. is what I've got written down.
Yeah. Now, this has the comment, how do I defend against this character? Actually unblockable, for real. I'm uninstalling, etc., etc. So that's kind of the mindset.
Yeah, going into this one.
Into this that we can process.
To first start up, this is a game against Eno, and Eno has one thing, and that thing is mix-ups. So the answer to how you block against this character is you try to not do it as much as possible. But we can go over a couple of like the common things Enos will do once they've got you in that vortex.
Yeah. Now, personally, I have a lot of trouble against Eno players as well, so I definitely understand the sentiment. People will tell me that my characters are good against her, and then I'll die anyway. So
I know my character is good against her, and I'll die anyway.
Yeah.
It's
so something
the way it is sometimes.
Something to always keep in mind is that the matchup being written down on paper is not always how it plays out if you as a player can't quite perform what your character needs to do. But I don't see this person in the chat very often. I haven't played against them.
No, the Eno players in Strive, in the Strive server right now, they only really come out for the tournaments.
Yeah, they don't want to let us learn how to fight against them.
No, I've been learning a little bit of Eno. I know a tiny bit now, but perhaps in future if I'm a little better.
Okay,
so there's a lot of. Go ahead.
First thing here is of course, the patented Eno forward dash pressure, where she just continually does like jump S or jump kick, and in the corner, something that everybody can do this, but Eno can benefit from this more than most characters is if she does a wall splat from a ground hit. Now, what that's going to result in is your character it'll just look like a normal wall splat, but your character cannot reset out of the corner the way that they normally would. If you're off the ground and you get wall splatted, then you can either reset still in the corner, or you can reset across as far as you can go based on how high off the ground you are. But what you do if you get wall splatted on the ground, which Eno can do well, you get this, where when you slump down, you are completely locked in that spot, and they can actually combo or do any number of different okie things to mix you up.
Yeah, the most important thing about this is that there's no throw invuln on it. So, as it goes, you basically just get the option right here of high, low, or throw. But in this case, went for note okie.
Right.
In which case, it's probably going to be high or low. You blocked, which was blocked very well.
Yeah. And Eno just has a great set of tools against to get around Nago's buttons.
Up close for sure.
Yeah.
So to go over the mix-ups a little bit, what we saw right there just happened right there after the knockdown was a double dash, like a redash. That shit is unsafe as hell, right? You have to press against that. You can't let them get away with that.
Yeah.
Oh, there was an answer about Boy Bewang. This is very late, but I got an answer about what Boy Bewang thinks when he plays, but he doesn't. Oh, can we rewind for that double? So that was like a couple seconds ago, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it happens quite a bit, so...
We'll probably see it soon again.
Is it?
It'll probably happen after a knockdown soon. We'll go over it again. Like, I have like a small list I made of the options Eno has for her mix-ups. That was just one I saw that I wanted to point out real quick. So here we get a nice combo. JD, this is going to wall splat right here.
Now, one thing I want to point out real quick. You are letting... Nagoriyuki is allowing Eno to use Stroke the Big Tree way too much. That move, you can't just let her keep doing it, because that is such a powerful tool as a low profile and also a way to get in and get a full combo if it hits.
Yep.
You want to react to it with throw if you can, but also just kind of throw something out low if you can to try and stop her momentum in that way.
Yeah, I asked around on the main Discord a little bit because I'm not super familiar with the matchup. But the going like things are of course 2S beat Stroke really well. But I've also been told that 2H can actually catch Stroke if you're on higher blood, so that's something to keep in mind. Lonely Ma also says right here, every character can universally throw OS against Stroke. So if they do Stroke from really far away, it doesn't really matter which of the two it is. S will whiff, 2H, the H1 will get close to you, but H is really slow, so you can hit it both ways. The problem is you have to just see it in time or preempt it. And that's where Eno shines, because of course, if you preempt for a Stroke and she does a dive kick or what have you, which is the hover in, you're just going to get mixed. So it is the way it is. Nago doesn't have a button that universally covers everything she wants to do. Right. There's no May 5H magic button, but there are definitely just ways you could do. This particular Eno, she really loves the Stroke, so just getting a couple 2S's in there are good. Or as Lonely Moss says, you can throw Stroke as well, so if you see it coming, you can try doing that.
Oh, I like the quick dust.
No meter to do anything with it, unfortunately, but keeping her in the corner with that burst, pretty good. Blocking that dive kick, and here comes the counter hit. So that was just a dash into empty low, or an empty dash low rather. That's
right.
One of her options as well, of course, but that's not really reactable. You just have to guess there. The first mix-up when you get knocked down is usually just one where you have to guess.
I actually want to back up a little bit because I want to see if we can find a specific. double, like a glide dash situation.
Sure. Yeah, that was just a needy JH. Safe jump. On block, RC, JK. JK is really interesting as well for Ino. We'll go over that in a little bit. Because this one wasn't really blocked, so there wasn't much to talk about. But...
Yeah. Alright, I think it happens in the early part of this round.
Yeah, I think it is too. So let's... Okay, the JH. There's a knockdown here. There, you see right there? Just a little bit ago? Like a couple seconds back. After the HCL knockdown right there.
Oh, I went back too far?
No, that's fine. So check this out.
Okay.
HCL knockdown, that's 2 dashes right there. You see that JH whiff and then she just goes for another one? That's unsafe. You have to punch there.
Yeah, yeah. So that's,
just a little bit further back, I think. Right here.
yeah,
You
so
see that?
it's at about 58 seconds, 57, 58 seconds.
Yeah. So right about there is a double, basically a reset on a redash as they call it. That stuff is mad unsafe. So you want to try and punch them out if you see this sort of thing happening. If they do it a lot, I don't think Xeno went for it super often, given how long it took us to find another one. But it's something to keep in mind. After she lands, you can see the JH whiff. That's the giveaway. Most Enos, what they'll do is they'll do a short dash, and if they short dash, JH will not actually come out. That's the way you can tell that they're trying to do it. But it's hard to react to, of course. That's just always the case. But you can usually tell by what distance they're at if they're going to try for it or not. It's mostly a thing they mix up with like very long dash into JH, which is something you'd rather 6p than try and punch out. Especially as Nago, since, you know, 6p gets you a bunch of reward if you don't have much blood yet.
Oh.
But Corn, that list I made, I'll put it in, what is it? I'll put it in event chat in a second. I'll link you it. I also found a copy pasta in, what is it? In the main Strife court. I can whip out for a second after this. Let me just, here. That was a good burst, by the way, right there.
Yeah. You want to be careful. So the big thing about bursting against this character is that you want to be careful about bursting during her grounded combos, because what she can do is use Stroke the Big Tree to low profile under your burst and then get a full combo off of it. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so that round was like pretty one-sided. I think that a little bit too often you were committing to something that she could get around, and something that you'll have to be willing to do is just throw out something that's a lot faster just for the sake of stopping what she's doing.
Yeah, stuff like 2Ks, 5Ps, that sort of thing. Like you caught her really well here, and you get into Oki, she bursts you away. You go right back in again with the thingy.
Oh, I like
Nago
that.
JK is so rough.
Yeah.
What a move.
Nice.
Yeah, I personally, instead of RCing, you probably just didn't know you had that wall damage there. That happens, but Super would have been really good there as well. Because, you know, then you don't give Ino even an opportunity to breathe.
Right.
She was going for rehover there, but decided against it. JS, trying to get you, but She's looking at you. You're approaching for the air a lot. There was another rehover right there. Didn't block it. Gets hit. Oh, buff for the RC before the wall stick. Yeah, see, that makes sense. Yeah, one more. There's just the blocking Eno is incredibly hard, right? Like, that's, of course, the entire idea of that character. But there are some little things you can do if you have a little bit of character knowledge, but
Yeah,
even at the high-end level, the best way to block Eno is to not block her at all.
right. It's something to keep in mind. You probably know this, but just kind of the concept of using FD to, you know, kind of stop her advance, knowing spots that are good to use it. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's on grounded buttons, especially. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Air buttons, not so much, but it can deny her some tick throws, which JK, for instance, if she does that, it has a pretty low block stun, so it's a really tight tick throw. You have to be like really fast. But if you FD it, there's less of room for her to do it, of course.
Yeah, and I think that basically what we're seeing here is just a basically D.O.N is getting he has, or they have understanding of kind of where Corrin is feeling confident and willing to challenge, and what they're willing to challenge with, and just kind of moving around that basically. And
yeah, there's not a lot of like low to the ground pokes that that's being challenged with, so it's mostly just a lot of doing stroke to get in, lots of H stroke there to just combo in.
yeah,
Because they know that Corrin is probably just going to whiff something, and
right.
they can punish it. That's mostly of what was happening here. But in event chat, I put the little list I made, just of stuff that I know and stuff that I saw in other places, that I stole from guides, whatever you want, of just the stuff that Eno usually does in terms of her mix-ups and what you can do about them. But the one important thing I really want you to take away is to just try and not block her if you can, because it's just not a good time even if you do know what's going on.
Right, and the main takeaway I want you to get from it is to be more willing to use those smaller, more non-committal buttons. That's actually something. Excuse me. As a Ramlethal player, that is a big tip for trying to get around what she does, because you don't have, like, if I try to FS, then she will very likely be able to get around it like effortlessly and then just completely run me over in that way. So I think that the matchup is pretty similar in that way with Nagoriyuki and Ramlethal. Let's see.
Yeah, glad that we can give you a little bit of help. Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, sorry.
But glad we could help you a little bit, Corrin. Thanks for all your submissions. They were really good games, really interesting to watch.
Yeah. Not just that, but also very integral to this concept that we're trying to get together. So, really appreciate that.
Sorry for spamming.
Do not
It's
be
fine.
sorry. Do not be sorry.
Do not be sorry at all. These were really good games.
And something that was mentioned, but I want to mention again, is that the matches being kind of one-sided at some points are not really reason not to review them, because the matches can look very one-sided, and and like one player is dominating the entire round or the entire match, but we can find the spots where that could be turned around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I cannot believe that I am streaming commentary and I got the hiccups. I'm losing my mind right now. I'm losing it, but I'm okay.
Let us soldier on. There's only 2 more after all.
Okay. Oh, I think I can. I'll try to survive. But really appreciate you guys all coming through. This my stream in general, there's no like sub button or anything like that because I am only concerned with bringing you guys what I'm doing. And this is something that if you guys are enjoying it right now, let's take it into the future. We'll get some more forums put together and, try and get something like this done again soon.
Sure, I'm up for it.
Yeah, totally.
Also, I see you are here, Yumari. That's good, because I think your replay is coming up next.
That is true. Let me take a look here. So now...
I remember this replay. This is good to be...
We have...
Another Nago game, but it's Nago versus Leo this time.
Leo Whitefang. And it's funny, the character spread in RTVS is very interesting.
It's a whole lot of Nago versus character.
Yeah. And that is not only like this tournament and these matches, but just in general, we have just the overwhelming amount of Faust players and Nago players, which is cool.
There's so many Fausts and Nagos, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though. So we get a lot of different styles, and we can see how these players, even though they play the same character, can play in different ways or have different levels of understanding with things that they do. Now, this video came with this comment. I have no idea how to deal with Leo's offense. Along with this, despite winning, I feel like my neutral game was subpar. I never really got any chance to use Nagoriyuki's strong pressure. So let's take a look at it, and we're going to try and address different things that Nagoriyuki can or will do, as well as things that Leo has access to while we're watching it.
Every now and then.
Okay, let me turn this down a little bit.
Yeah, so this is a heavily modded game.
Okay.
But it's interesting. So as we can see here, a great round start. 2S out here beating Leo 2D, excellent choice. Nago 2S is a great round start, but Leo doesn't have much in terms of dealing with it, of course.
What? Why is there like a Yakuza cutaway after the match starts?
I don't know. I thought I clicked this submission, right? And this happened.
Look at that!
And I was just dying laughing for like 10 minutes straight. I couldn't take it.
Look at Leo's face.
He's not having any of this.
I love that while Leo's getting hit, he's got his like hands on his hips, like he's pissed. Like, how dare you?
How dare you? Anyway, just barely went too far on that video and just crossed out. Good 2H lead, by the way. Like, I thought you were mostly about like how your neutral wasn't very good, but I think your neutral is actually pretty good against Leo, at least in the first few matches I saw.
So here I'm seeing, honestly, it's looking more like Nagoriyuki is just being allowed to do what he likes. And for, am I supposed to call them Jack Garland fan or something like that? What the hell's their name?
They go by Pyro usually.
Okay, so Pyro, the rest of the replay is normal. Thank you. Okay, good.
This is not true. This is lies.
It's not true. Okay. First off, no Nagoriyuki replay is normal. But anyway, in this match, in this round, it didn't really seem like they were willing to put anything forth.
Duel 2.
Spin hitting.
What in the world?
Shit on planet Earth. I saw it. Like this entire match is just really so this is the first instance of something I saw happen a lot. It got better at the end of the set, but the thing I saw a lot was the cross up 236H by Leo just not getting thrown.
Yeah, so so there were a couple things that happened really fast here. And so this right here, Leo has a move where he runs towards you, and there's one that hits in front of him, and there's one where he hits behind him, right? Now, they made this move a lot slower, so it is realistic to be able to grab it on reaction. When you see Leo start running past your character, if you hit 6 or 4D, then you should be able to grab him out of this move completely and just completely shut down that option for him. And then after that, we see his back turn stance. Now he's got a couple different options here. One of which is that cross that he puts behind him. That one is mid. He could do a low kick while he's back turn, and he can also do that jump little hop overhead swing. Now, the big thing is that basically the low kick is very fast, but the overhead is not, and you can actually spot it as it's happening and block high on reaction. So when you're dealing with this situation, what you want to do is, as usual, you want to crouch block until you see the overhead. But if you don't like consciously think of that little hop, then you're gonna get caught like this. But after you know about it, it becomes a lot easier to react to.
BTH is like just on the cusp of being reactable. It's 18 frame startup, so it's kind of hard to react to.
Yeah,
but
it's
definitely something you can do if you really practice it.
Yeah, it's not like it's. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's easy to do, but generally speaking, if you just look for that hop, you'll be able to get it if you see it enough times. Now after this sequence, they try to go for a command grab. If you look, so they now you challenged with the 2D there, which was good because you were at a range where it was going to be very difficult for them to beat this. But what they tried to do there was go for a command grab, and the big way to know that they're doing a command grab is actually to hear it, because it makes a weird sound.
Yeah, the visual startup is really subtle, but it does have a weird noise.
Yeah, you can't hear it.
One other really interesting thing about Leo command grab, it's not throw involved. It's one of the only ones it's literally the only one in the game actually that's not throw involved. So you can actually just straight up throw him out of it if you see.
Right. That's not super advisable because it's easy to whiff and get grabbed by accident.
Of course, but it is something you can do if it's up close, since it does have a really long startup as well. But Leo is really full of just a lot of weird moves.
Right.
That's basically his character.
Okay,
Here we go.
We saw that run through where you could have grabbed it. Now that move, okay, so that move where he turns around and swings, that move causes guard break, but it has very, very slow startup, so you can actually mash out of it, and you can stop him from doing that. Now, when Leo gets hit, he leaves back turn stance, so whatever pressure they were doing in back turn, if you hit them one time, also they can't block, which is important, they can't block, and they can't jump. So if you hit them at all, put anything out there, that's going to throw them off completely. It's going to throw off their offense.
The weird air approach points.
Wild jump.
Now that is something I like to call Nago privilege, because 5H just straight up treats projectile. It just goes through it, just kills them.
Yeah, that's rough for Leo.
As well as, of course, Clone just beating it if you don't have a lot of high blood. So projectiles are not really extremely good for Leo in this matchup.
Now, being honest, seeing that round, it felt like Pyro was kind of checked out on that round, just not really blocking after that exchange with the projectile. and you took advantage of it and closed the round out. But I feel like this is kind of a little bit of a mental fissure in terms of their play. And it's good to be able to recognize when your opponent is having those moments, because then you crush him for it.
Sure, that's a good description for a lot of this replay, I think. Like on both sides.
Okay.
Good throw, instantly going to back turn, but you throw him out of it.
So,
into the DP.
So throwing while Leo is back turned is kind of risky, because that low kick that I talked about is really fast. But excuse me, he is not invul, or he is not throw invul for any of it. So
there
is
nothing you can do. That's throwing ball.
Yeah, it is.
So it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's still an option. Right. In Guilty Gear Xrd, he was throw invul during a good amount of his options during it, but he's not in this game, so it's good to be able to call that out.
I think the only thing he has that's technically throw invul is during BTH he hops, and that puts him airborne, so that's throwing invul.
Yeah.
I'm trying to time the 5H.
Yeah.
Catch Leo there.
And I think Yumari's idea was that the 5H would have gone further, because at a higher blood rage that would have worked.
What, we're only at 1 and a little bar, I think, right there, so it just barely didn't connect.
Right. Okay, DP, full combo.
The funny Leo combo comes out.
Yeah.
Optimal, by the way. There's projectile. Ooh.
Okay. I think Yumari got a little bit too overzealous with trying to punish the fireball there, and it didn't work out. Oh, this is dead.
Good. Really good.
Yeah. Okay, so in that situation you had to have the combo ready, but the way that you went into that situation was very strong.
Yeah, labbing out a punish combo specifically for Leo HDP because it has a weird angle. It's really worth it.
Yeah, and Leo with his suite of options, having that flash kick is very strong, and they did get good use out of it through the set earlier as well. So I liked the use of K over and over, and then going for the overhead to kind of see if they're awake. A lot of players, when they're just blocking, they're just kind of blocking low and don't really know what they're looking for, and then get caught by a D for it. But yeah, that's kind of what happened there. Catch with clone. Okay, DP.
Oh, another DP, but it was cancelled this time, but I think that was just a read on Pyro specifically. To just 2H there.
That was a weird catch with the 2K. Of course, next time you know to go for throw there. Good super. End the round.
That's the round. Yeah, Leo offense when he gets going can get really overwhelming, of course.
Yeah, especially if you don't know the tricks behind his back turn stance. But once you do understand it, it gets a lot more reasonable to deal with.
Ah, the call out 3H into the full combo. Almost all his life gone.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe could have supered there? Wow.
It depends on if you want to play neutral versus Leo or not. And Nago, especially at the bars he was at, definitely outrageous Leo. So
right.
It might have been in your interest to do it there anyway, but that was kind of at the point where supering might have just straight up killed. So
right.
Worth going for either way, I think. 2H, what a move. Into Glide, you gotta FD the spin, otherwise you can just do that.
Yeah, that first round was just kind of a blow up, and this one is basically like the complete opposite.
Yeah, there the command grab comes out, not responded to, and it just into a combo.
Okay, we got
Here
a
comes the super.
that was a quotation reversal super, not really a reversal, but anticipated that something was coming out and got it right. Okay.
And there's the whiff punish. To burst it out of it, the combo though.
So
Right now,
That-
Leo or Nago has very low blood, so could have done clone to get through that projectile, but worked out either way.
yeah, so that DP felt kind of like a panic DP. There was not really much that would have that would have caught at that range, and then also the burst afterwards was also like a panic burst. It worked in that situation, but if Yumari had kind of recognized it, they could have just not pressed anything and then use that time to approach and then get another full combo off of it.
Yeah, that could have just been a CS and then death, basically.
Right. But I do think in terms of buttons, in terms of buttons, Yumari's play, I think it's great. I think there's no issues there. A lot of the problems are both on the defensive side and then also basically converting those hits into full combos.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As a clone to just come in, but it's not quite there.
So I actually liked Pyro using the fireballs at range, and I do not agree with them going into back turn in that situation, because I think that they actually had a good spot where they could continually throw out the fireballs and just make Nagoriyuki come to him.
Yeah, make him commit to something.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that dash up. That was a sick catch.
There it is.
Good throw. Yeah. They got really good. They got decent at it at the end of the set, but there's just something like there. It didn't happen right there.
And I'm liking Pyro abusing the overhead there. That obviously that overhead lets you get into a full combo, and recognizing that it's not really getting caught.
One thing that might be cool for Pyro to try is the parry stance thing Leo has.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of mids being thrown out by Yumari, a lot of FS 5H, and that thing is basically designed to counter those options.
Right, yeah, that's very true, and it's not something that I'm seeing them use at all, likely because they don't feel comfortable with it, and I think that as they continue to play, if they get more used to this matchup, they're going to feel more comfortable using that in more situations. I was going to say something and I forgot. Let me look at it again. Oh, right. I was going to say that I really like the PRC here. Obviously that last hit has a ton of recovery, and you want to avoid getting killed for that. So I like the use of meter here into the 2K to make sure that they can't get anything.
Ah, yeah, there goes the throw into back turn. Good gold burst to call it out.
Yeah, also good. On Pyro's side, that was a good choice to RC there instead of trying to wait and gimmick them, because Leo's super has a gap in it where it's like it's between the second to the last hit and the last hit, and you can actually punish him before the super finishes. So it's good to PRC it early if you can.
Sure. Just get it out of the way. Don't really rely on having to gimmick it. Or if they do know that they can't punish there, then
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean.
we get a drop there.
That's gonna be
but
damage.
you can't block, so
Yeah.
unless they press JD there, that's toast.
Yeah, so that is a situation where it worked out here, but if Pyro had the knowledge for it, I believe they could have parried it and then gotten a full combo off of that.
Sure. Back turn D is not to be underestimated.
Yeah. Okay, I just kind of ran him over with a couple of stray hits. But yeah, this was a good match, and there are just certain specific things that Leo can do that you got to watch out for. And then also just kind of cleaning up the knowing how to react with certain situations with certain buttons. Or certain combos, conversions.
Yeah. I would definitely spend some time getting a good punish down for H flash kick in particular, because it's a weird angle. If it whiffs, you have to like delay stuff on Mei, I know, so there's probably something similar for Nago. Just getting that down is a good way to like really make him regret going for that a lot.
Yeah. I do wish that some of these people played a little bit more. You know, it's for me personally. Obviously, I only play like a couple games, right? So what I see from people, I feel like I could see their play turn into much more. But a lot of the people in RTVS are they're kind of, you know, playing every game. They just want to have some fun, play a bunch of different fighting games. But I think that I see potential to improve from both sides on this one, and I feel confident in saying that neither one of them plays the game a ton, but I think that they could definitely clean up a couple things and turn it into something, you know, becoming a real threat.
Yeah, these both of these players are, I can see them becoming really good. For sure.
Let's see. So, okay, we don't have that one. And then the last one is that's Lonely Moz, where it's broken up into three different
streamable links.
Okay.
I got a request for you to just mute it because there's going to be like 17 Discord pings in it.
Okay. Okay, who recorded it?
It was Ma, not me.
Okay, I'm banning Ma.
It's their replay. Come on.
I'm well. Okay, we'll watch it. We'll talk about it, and then I'll ban them.
Okay, that's fair. I can live with that. That sounds good.
I enjoy how quickly you threw her under the bus. But anyway, so let's get started.
So for more specifically, I did write down a gigantic novel on Mei pressure because that was the big thing they were having issue with when we played a little while after, and I'll just go over that a little bit during this one as well because a lot of the same things apply. But That was basically the big thing that I noticed before we go into this. It was just the not understanding the pressure very well. So
yeah,
we'll go over that as it shows up.
Quick note. Whenever I record anything, I use OBS, right? So what that does is, if you have it set up in such a way, it'll actually activate streamer mode on Discord, and then while you're recording, it'll naturally mute all your notifications.
You can also manually activate streamer mode in Discord, so
that's true. Yeah,
it's something it's something nice to learn about.
All right,
so here we are. So quick disclaimer: this game is extremely scrambly. From my side, what happened before this was I lost to Sybil just before this, and that was a 6-frame Happy Chaos matchup.
Oh,
so I was not having a good time.
Okay.
But these matches turned out a bit scrambly. But there's still a lot of value in here.
I didn't say anything because I'm not. I don't do that. But when I played against Sybil in this tournament, the lag was really, really bad. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I have a video that I've made of me just playing around versus Sybil, and no offense, but every single time I got comboed, I was just teleporting.
Yeah, so. There were times where like I would see Chaos pull out the gun, and then I would like try to like move forward a little bit, and then it would I would just be in the air getting shot already, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that sounds familiar to me.
Yeah,
But anyway, that was me going into this. I was just like, okay, I just gotta get into top 8. Just gotta get this done.
Okay. And I definitely know that feeling when I'm playing. A lot of times I not so much anymore, not as much as I used to, but I would just be like, you know what, I just want this to be over with. Let me just kill them and get it over with, and then get destroyed for that.
The funny thing, no one knows this and I know this, but 2p round start for Faust, ridiculously good. I do have a punish for it usually, but not today. I just walk back it there if I don't trust myself. But it's a really big option for Faust. If you are someone struggling with the matchup, that's a good thing to look at because they can get a lot started just of having the round start go their way. So.
Okay. Let me rewind a little bit. I have never had lag issues against Sybil before. It was specifically this match. I have no idea why. It was just specifically the internet was not cooperating that day. I don't have any complaints otherwise.
No, I live in Europe and Sybil is West Coast, I think, so we always have bad connections, but it's just what it is.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm doing a lot in this matchup, or this set specifically, is I'm jumping and air dashing a lot. That's not normally something you want to do a lot against Faust because of that.
Yeah.
Rising JH.
Yeah.
It beats basically everything I can do, and it's really good in a bunch of different matchups. But I really like doing it, as you can tell, so...
Yeah, and so one thing is that when you're playing in tournament, a lot of times you can get locked in on specific options that you just really want to do, and it happens to everybody. So I looked over at my Discord because I was like, why am I getting a notification if I'm streaming? Oh my god.
Okay, but so. Let me just go over a couple things here. Like that 5k that I do there, 5k dash cancel is very minus. It's like minus 11 before I even throw. So you just want to hit a button there to stop me from doing that. Other stuff is the general structure of May Pressure is CS on block is usually where you start stuff. And then there's a couple options. I usually do a lot of 2H because if you FD it, sometimes it whiffs. It's really inconsistent. It depends on how much you delay it. This round's over, by the way, but
that's right. I'm sorry.
It loops because it's streamable, but that's fine.
I forgot that.
But a good idea to stop me from doing 2H or any other May is to do a lot of FDing of CS. Even better if you can IB FD, of course, because 2H is absolutely deaf on whiff. It's like minus 22 on block on cancelled, so you can imagine how bad it is on whiff. If I can't do 2H, my options in mid-screen become a whole lot less dangerous. 6H is an option, but getting stuff off of it is really dependent on how the CS landed. So, Toma missed the chance to call this replay K2-It. Thank you. That's a great pun.
K-do-it to it.
But yeah, then you, of course, as I mentioned, 6H, it has really whatever reward mid-screen, but it's ridiculous in the corner, so you'll see me go for it there a lot. And the other thing that I do a lot is CS 5H. I don't think I do it so much because I usually reserve it for if I do get FD'd a lot on CS. But it has pretty mediocre reward across the board. It gets a knockdown, but that's about it. But the important thing about 2H is that it catches jump startup if I just delay it, right? And Ma in particular, really likes to jump, as you can see, because they're really scared of me throwing them.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of 2H to just scratch that.
There's kind of there's like two sides to that because this frame is hilarious. But anyway, it's very, very fast May. And now Ma's conversions in this match so far have been really, really tight. Now the thing is that Ma jumps a lot because she's scared of getting hit, but also the air to air and also air to ground, I feel they know how to navigate that concept very well from what I'm watching. And so basically taking to the sky to kind of just consolidate and get out of getting thrown as well as get out of the corner.
Yep. It's a good option, but there's just ways to deal with it, so it shouldn't be your only option. Like, what you demonstrate super well is... I fucking hate Faust Fumo so bad. What you demonstrate super well is using backdash in the corner. Because 2H will not work on that, of course.
Right.
Get right past it, and as I said, Def on whip, so...
Okay, so I like the challenge with this 5Ps there to try and get out. That was definitely a good choice. More or less non-committal option to push Faust out and stop his offense.
Yeah, Mei gets a really, really silly reward off a 5P because it Gatlinks it to 3k, so you just get a knockdown.
Okay, so
I'm pretty used to challenging with that mode.
Right.
There's the patented 5H counter hit. It's really good damage if you have some meter to extend it.
Okay, that was interesting that that Maul went for the 5P there in the corner. If that was me, I would have gone for a 6P to try and catch something because as you said earlier, you were jumping a lot, and that would have been like, well, let me see.
Yeah, I would have if you let me just scroll back a little bit. I think
a little bit further.
Yeah, just after this combo with JK, that's unfortunate. Then I go here and I start my pressure. Then 5P there. So worked out that time because I didn't cancel. They were looking for a dolphin.
Yeah.
5P would have worked wonders against both of them. But I didn't actually do stuff. But there we go.
Caught Ma probably trying to jump out.
No, that was a counter hit, so they pressed something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the scalpel cancel, just barely off.
Yeah.
5k also jump cancel, well, funny button. And then I just whiff CS and I catch him out. I think I wrote in my notes, ouch! So... that was just really unfortunate.
Right.
Most of this replay is just a bunch of just guessing wrong, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a stuff. One thing I did write down because I saw it happen a couple times is if Mei hits JS up high, there's not enough block stun to prevent her from just getting thrown as she lands. It happened quite a lot, and I didn't really get punished for it this time. So it's something I'd like to note down for people, because if you do that to me, I'll be really, really sad. Other than that, the only other way I can go around it is if I cancel into JD, but I will usually whiff at the heights JS will hit at that point, so... it's something to keep in mind, so I just don't get away with JS stuff for free. Yep, the really good grab.
I like the gold burst there.
Usually they go for a safe jump there, so I was like, I'll just try and burst after that lands, but...
Right, so, actually, let's see. This is right after you get up. Yeah, so lots of times they'll either do the safe jump, or land and do snip, or do the air dash mix, which will hit on the other side. And Gold Burst basically covers all those options. So I like that.
Plus, it gives Mei meter, and Mei with meter is terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, that's general gear, yeah. But yeah, Mei is more painful than others.
So Mei's big weakness is she has decent neutral, but she can't convert. And RC makes it so that doesn't happen anymore. So
right.
Mei with 50 meter. Well, if you ask any Mei players, they'll probably tell you something along the lines of May with 50 meters is a different character.
I need
Solely because
I need someone to tell me what just happened. Hold on.
I have another note that was right around this point, which is God, these sure are Faust games.
Hold on. I'm trying to process. So there's a jump H as they're coming down, jump kick.
I reversal super, bomb blows up, I avoid that with the reversal, but under there, the Faust Fumo gets activated, they block, the Faust Fumo comes out, hits me, they pick up a trumpet, I hit them, I'm like, I'll try to 2H them so they get in the air and I can follow with Dolphin, but I was just too slow, and I get hit there. And then we just get a May mix-up. Just
nice,
a throw mix-up.
okay.
Just ended up.
Oh man, that was a lot to process in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's quite something. So another thing I noted as well is that Ma loves to approach me, and I don't really know why as Faust you want to do that against May, because personally I think I'm way scarier if I could just walk up to you and catch stuff you're doing, rather than you just sitting back and just spinning the gotcha.
Right. Now, something you guys should keep in mind, look at the risk gauge, okay? There's not very much in there, right? But look what happens. You guys do not underestimate the risk gauge.
Do not try and just backdash as well, because CS, dash CS, it's a reset I do a lot, and one of the things that comes with it is if you backdash, I hit you, and you die. You just blow up.
Yeah, tons of damage. Okay, so that was that match.
But yeah, I have the novel still somewhere of all the May pressure. I put that in, I think it was Dojo or General. But in general, just be advised that backdashing is a risky call out against May. I would much rather, if I was blocking a May, I would much rather jump. Because if you jump up, the worst thing that'll happen is that you'll be forced to just like jump block a thing, which sucks. But getting hit by a CS out of your backdash is a billion times worse. But just be advised that doing that is not just always the way out, basically.
I also like the idea of going for a quick low. I think maybe like 2P as a challenge would be a good option in a lot of situations, or at least better than backdashing.
Yeah, exactly. Pressing buttons is also a great way. It most of the time it's a good call out. Against CS-CS in particular, there's one setup where the gap between the first and the second CS is exactly 5 frames. So if you press a fast button, you end up trading. But generally speaking, it's a good idea to just try and challenge with a fast button or a fast low. Your 5Ps, 2Ks, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all of our submissions, I believe.
I believe that should be it.
So that's going to wrap it up for today. Hopefully we got some good feedback to the people that wanted it. Ma, hopefully that helped you out, as well as I think Kbloowit's going to drop some extra knowledge or point you in the right direction. If you guys are interested in this, do me a favor, try and get some gameplay that you either, something that either you were confused about, maybe you want more knowledge on. Maybe if you did something sick, if you did like some sick thing, show that off too. But we'll get something like this in the future. Kbloowit, hopefully you'll be interested in continuing to do something like this, because I think it's a great time.
I mean, I would 100% agree. Lonely Ma has the essay saved, as he says.
Good.
So that's all good. But yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I think I learned a lot myself as well doing this. And I would definitely like to see more submissions in future, so we could do a little more of this.
Yeah, agreed. So I'm gonna end it here. I will upload it to YouTube, and I'm going to try and section it off so that people will be able to find their matches and get feedback as they like.
Yeah. So I would like to say thank you all for watching, and I'll hope to see you in the next one.
Yep. Have a good one, guys, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.